did you ask? I don't know what,
I
what
think
else you told us
I
to
think you've
do.
covered everything that I've asked.
Yeah, we already
You've
have
covered
logo. We
everything.
already have our logo and everything. Yeah,
Okay, great. Did you say you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's it's my R. It's under my RA.
Hmm.
If you type it in, it's my. You may find it at. It should be like facebook.com/slash the Myra app.
Hmm.
The same thing on Instagram. It's the Myra app. Everywhere, all of our social media is the Myra app. We're also on LinkedIn as well.
Perfect. All right, great. Anna, you are there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Go ahead and tell us about your business,
Okay.
Hannah.
You know, I'm on bereavement leave, right? How do you go on bereavement leave before you get started? I haven't done
Yeah,
much
your
either, but
friend,
my
right?
friend passed last week. Yeah, so we're burying her on
Sorry about
Saturday,
that.
and my goal is to get back in gear on
Yes, yes,
Monday. I'm hoping that I will have
yes.
the closure that I need to do that.
All right. We're so
But
sorry to hear about your friend, Hannah.
I have a lot in the works. I'm sorry.
We're so sorry to hear about your friend who passed away, you know? Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm very
But
much
I've got my marching orders, and it will not take me long to do all these things.
right. I know.
I've
I
done
know
them all
you are on
before.
track, and as soon as things get back to normal, it's not gonna get, you'll be fine. You're in our
Hmm.
thoughts and our prayers, girl.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. All right, I think I've captured everyone, and I want to thank you guys that you are on track. You sound serious, and I hope you are, because listen, we are serious about this, and I know that you are moving right. Some of you guys have business already, but if you have a business already, one thing I want to say is that if you go somewhere and introducing yourself, and depends on the setting that you are in, just don't tell them like four, five, six business. People get confused. Focus on if you are in if you're in an environment where you're looking, that you are looking for contract, and this relationship is going to produce a contract. Just talk about your staffing. Don't talk about a whole lot of stuff, training and Shopify and a whole lot of things. Try to not, make it clear, because when the goal is clear, the results will appear. And I wanted you guys to really think about that as you go through, because I have training and consulting business myself, and I have staffing. But it depends on where I'm at. You present yourself, and you present the kind of business that you want to present. Based depends on the environment that you are in, and use your wisdom with that. So tonight I want to go over contracts with you, and I know that John is going to be coming later on, and he's going to be talking about. He's coming from Kamana Company. Is a healthcare organization that he's going to be talking about competencies and contract competencies, and just talk about some of the things that he does in his organization that will enhance you. All right. So I'm going to be talking about how to gain contract, and I am going to show a brief slide here. Let me see if I have somebody to admit. Somebody out there in the waiting room. Okay, I'm admitting. Okay, got it. All right, so I'm going to put my screen up now, guys. All right. So I want to talk about, give me a minute, I'm coming. Thank you all. Okay, so I want to talk to you about how to land contracts, how to land contracts. And before I talk about contract, I wanted to real quickly talk about, last week we discussed marketing, and we discussed hiring. I just want to reinforce a couple things before we go on to contract. We talked about finance last week, and we talked about marketing, and we talked about um, recruitment and reimbursement. I just want to reinforce as far as staffing is concerned. As far as staffing is concerned, financing can be a big issue, because if you have no money, you're not going to be happy. If you have no money, you cannot run your agency. The nurses are not going to be happy. So I wanted to start thinking that, do I need to get any kind of a loan, or do I need to get any payroll funding? And there's a payroll funding that I want you to, that is low interest that I want you to check out if you need it. Don't use payroll funding unless you need to. You know, you have paychecks, you have all of these ADP, you have Gusto, but there's payroll. If you Google payrollfunding.com, you can look up your state and see the different companies that they have, like Paragon, Capital Funding, you know, Gateway, Commercial Funding. They have several fundings company that you can check out, and just go for it only if they want to pay your nurses on the back end with a low interest rate. They work differently, so do your research and make sure. And I'm saying this to say, because nothing upsets a registered nurse more than when they work for a brand new agency and you cannot produce a check. Nurses are not going to wait for 3 weeks till the company pays you all the time. If you have money in your savings, if you want to take a loan or a home equity loan or a line of credit or whatever it is, don't break the bank with a lot of big interest rate, but just go slowly and just have, you know, finances, cash available for your payroll. Some companies, as I said before, if you're heading in the hospitals or physician's office, chances are they are going to pay you fast. But when it comes to the long-term care facility, the skills nursing homes and the and those places, the rehabs, many times they take 4 weeks, 6 weeks. But be careful what is in your contract. Because on the contract that I share with you, I believe it says 45 days. And you may submit that contract to our organization and they want to change that language, or they want to change it from 45 days to less or more. Be very careful, because at the end of the day, you want to get your money as fast as possible. Many hospitals will pay every week or every other day, and that is good. If your niche is nurses, guys, ICU nurses, ER nurses, med-surg nurses, I want you to start looking at all the hospitals around in your community. And the way you're going to do that, you are going to go under Medicare.gov. When you www.medicare.gov, type in your area code, not your area code, I'm sorry, your zip code. Once you place in your zip code, then you decide whether you're looking up hospitals, hospice, nursing home, physician's office. All healthcare facilities are on Medicare.gov, and make a list of that. You need to have a database, full with a lot of people in your community. It doesn't matter where you are. Just don't have to be in your immediate community. It can be outside of in your state, but in another county. If you're in Florida, look up hospitals like in another county if you have nurses to cover. Don't limit yourself. So that is a good start. And in addition to the fact that you know the names of the hospitals around you. When I was looking for contracts, I didn't have to do that because I know a lot of hospital names. But if you really forget which name you have, different hospital, different medical center, go under Medicare.gov and look up place in your, and it's for all states. You are able to find hospice, physician's offices, and you take it from there. All right. You need to have, if you have an assistant, have them create a database with you, and all you're not gonna find the email address. And I'm going to talk about that later when I'm jumping into the contract. You may not see the email addresses, but you will see the telephone numbers, and you want to make sure you have the numbers, because when you call, you're going to want them to direct you to the right person, whether it is whether it's a HR or staffing office or the chief nursing office, different places. You're going to ask who is doing staffing, the scheduler, because when it comes to staffing, there's no one size shoe fit all. You're going to be non-traditional. When you call, you're going to ask who is in charge of staffing, who you are. You're going to let them know, and take advantage of the fact that you're a nurse-owned agency. You're a nurse-owned staffing agency. Always say that. Organizations love when when you're a nurse-owned, because they know that you know what you're talking about. All right. Okay, so let's just talk about, so that is financing. I wanted to mention that about finances. All right, what else I want to say about that? Yeah, so Yeah, so I just want to kind of go over that a little bit. And last, I talk about marketing as well. And remember, when you're marketing for clients and you're marketing for nurses. For those of you who have some nurses right now, start thinking about creating a email list. It don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for it. You can have a free email list like MailChimp. I have Constant Contact, and I have thousands of names, but I pay $45 or $55 per month. You can do that if you want, or if you want to go free, you can use MailChimp. It will limit you as to how many. How many of you, for those of you who don't have an email list, start generating an email list. It doesn't matter if the nurses are your friends, but after a while, you want to communicate with them by email. You want to share with them what's going on around you. Sometimes you may get a message from an organization that they may have Joint Commission coming in another few weeks, or something is going on, and they will let you know. You want to share that with your organization. Be a staffing agency on the cutting edge. Don't be like the regular staffing agency, just there and nobody knows anything about you. Train your staff, make yourself different, be non-traditional, be different, so that organization can see that you're standing out. So you want to find ways, how can I be different? How can my staffing agency be different, so that they will like me and they will hire me, and I'll get a contract from them, they'll sign my agreement, that kind of a thing. All right. So one thing I want to say, and I was talking about marketing. Remember, talk to your friends about your business, your families, your community, your church, your chamber of commerce. And your community has to get them involved. Let them know what you're doing. Be out there in the social media world as much as possible. Whatever works for you. Business cards are still working. For those of you who are doing graphic design and stuff like that, flyers, posters, and all these things, these things work. Let people know about your staffing agency so you are on top of mind. And that's why it's so important that you have a crisp, clean name that people can remember your name. Okay, so I want to say that before I jump into contract. All right. So if you have the startup guide, all the details about contracts are there. So after this class, I want you to actually review it, because it has some real good juicy stuff that you need to follow. All right. So let's talk about contracts. Are contracts equal clients plus relationships? And guys, relationships are so important. Your former co-workers, tap into them. Ask them what's going on in the organization. Are they using agency nurses? Are they using health staffing? Healthcare staffing agency. Are they using staffing companies? And you can carve out what you want to call yourself. If you want to call yourself an agency, you can start call yourself a staffing company. You want to start call yourself a staffing firm. You don't have to use the word agency. Create your own brand and stick to it. You can say my staffing company, or my staffing firm, my staffing agency, whatever you want to say. Just create something nice that you are comfortable with, and use it and utilize it until it gets, like everyone knows about you in that aspect. Old business relationships. Tap into your old business relationships. Are you networking in your community? Yes, networking in your community. Don't hide what you're doing and say, I don't want anybody to know about it, because they're going to say, oh my God, she's doing so many things. I hear that all the time. People hide what they're doing because they're afraid. People say that they are doing so many things. People are not paying your bills, guys. People are not paying your mortgage. People are not building your legacy. You are doing it. So forget the fear and forget about what others around you are saying, whether it is family members, friends. Go all the way for your business. Having a healthcare staffing firm, healthcare staffing solution, or a business, it's a great thing to have. It's a great business model. And I want you to go all the way to take it seriously and move forward with it. All right. So remember, relationships are good. And when it comes to relationship, you have three groups of people that you really want to build on in your organization. You have three different clientele. Number one, your in-house administrative staff. Then you have your nursing staff. That's number two. And then you have your clients. You have to build a relationship with them, because at the end of the day, people are important. People are important. because your business is not viable until you really develop relationships with people. All right? You know, because there's someone who says that, someone who once said that your business will never be successful until you master the people game. Until you master the people game. So I want you to think about that. Build a relationship with people as much as possible. And even now with you guys here, just get to know each other, because you know what, you can encourage each other. Because I'm sure when, you know, each of you guys were introducing yourself and talking about your business, somebody, I'm sure, say, wow, I can do this. If she can do this, I can do this. And I'll do this. You get ideas from each other. All right? Relationships are great. Staffing is all about people. Every human interaction is an opportunity to build a relationship with someone. If you go somewhere and you build a relationship and you have a human interaction, it's an opportunity for you to get a contract. Never underestimate. If you go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, whether it's on Zoom or not, and you have a CEO from an organization as a speaker, get to know him. Just find a question to ask him. That's all got a contract. A CEO from an organization was speaking one day at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. I think I knew the answer for the question, but I still asked it because I wanted to talk with him, just to connect. And then I sent him an email and I remind him who I was, and he remembered. So these are some of the things that you can do. Build relationships. Never be afraid. People want to hear from you. CEOs want to hear from you. CNOs want to hear from you. You are in the business of people. Business exists because of people. When people is your focus, it impacts your bottom line. Master the people game. Why are you better than your competitor? Because you want to make sure you are better so that they can pick you. You know, organizations around. Take, for example, for those of you in Florida right now, you have a big organization called the Broward Health. They have so many organizations, so many campuses. They have a lot of people they can select from, but you want to be the organization or the agency or the firm of choice. So why are you better than Brilliant? Why are you better than another company? You have to make yourself better. You know, it's a competitive game, and you have to be dedicated and be committed when it comes to selling yourself to them. There's a competitive nature of this industry. So you have to say, why am I different? Why am I better? Why do I stand out in the marketplace? And sometimes you stand out just because of you have a great brand. A lot of people talk about you. Let the nurses that you are sending in the organization be great nurses so that, listen, you are talked about. When you are pitching to get contract, let them know that you train your nurses, because if you do any kind of training, and you could do that, develop a system where you train your nurses. I don't care if it's just CPR you teach them, or you teach them ACLS. You have an ACLS company. Some of you are ACLS instructor, PALS instructors, BLS instructor. Let them know that you train your nurses. You have a relationship with them. In my company, every single nurse have to review the national patient safety goals before they go to the organization. But guess what? It's also an opportunity for me. It's a way for me to let my clients or my potential clients know that my nurses are different because they know Joint Commission, because they review the national patient safety goals. Where I got that? Just go on the website, print it out. Print off their PowerPoint on the national patient safety goals, send them to your nurses and have them review it, sign it, send it back to you. Education. You are creating a system where you educate them. And what you are doing, you are creating a momentum where your people are different from the norm. So train them something and have that on your website that you're a trainer. Make sure your website is clean and crisp. I don't want anyone to try to go to the organization and have no website, because they are going to, you have to have something. Even if you don't have their website built yet, have a business page on a Facebook, because they're going to check you out. You cannot present yourself, and when they Google your name, all they see is your name on the Secretary of State, no website. A lot of people like that. They tell me they have a business. When I Google their name, I don't see any business. I don't see any website. Guess what I see? just something on the Secretary of State that they just got their license a couple weeks ago. No business want that. They want to see a website that is clean and have information on it. By the way, if you have not created your website yet, ProWeaver is a great place, or it depends on how much you want to spend. I think it's like $700-800, but they are great. They know how to create it. They are in our Facebook page too. They are part of our team, so they're partnered with us. So just connect with them, and they will give you a discount. So you want to identify your ideal target clients. Like Damali, she identified a real or ideal target clients will be physician's office or some hospitals, of course. Identify, where am I going to send my people? Leonie says that our target clients will be hospitals or DaVita or dialysis clinic or dialysis centers. Yes. How many nurses out there, or how many firms out there are doing dialysis? Not too many. So that's a great opportunity, Leonie. Create a momentum and start calling them. What clients, organization do you want to serve? Do you want to serve hospitals, physician's office, skilled nursing facilities, hospice, schools, corrections? You have to think, where do I want this? And start focus on just one at a time. Like, for example, I want to say, like, Stacy, if I know, Stacy, you're doing nurses, you are doing LPNs, you're doing RNs, and you're doing CNAs. I know that you can focus on long-term care facilities if you want, or hospital. But for now, just start with one. Just get a list of all the long-term care facilities or all the nursing, the hospitals, and start focusing on just one group of clients for now. And then you just branch off and start getting more. Because also too, you have to think about, if I get one and I have nurses and they start calling me to send me to the organization, that's a start. And I want you guys to start thinking expansion. I don't like the word pivot, because you know what pivot means? Pivot means you go in all the way around. Everybody talking about pivot these days is a buzzword. I like elevation. I like expansion. I like growth. When you pivot, you stay and you go around circle. You're not pivoting. We are growing. We're expanding. We're elevating ourselves. We are making ourselves bigger, better. So start thinking of, do I need to hire a $5 an hour, 2 hours a day virtual assistant? Pineapple Staffing is one. Fiverr, you can go on Fiverr and get a cheap one. You can go on Pineapple Staffing. Utilize all, those, if you can utilize a VA that can create the list for you with all the hospitals. And of course, you can even give them the script and teach them what to say when they call the organization. It's in this book. We're going to go over it tonight, but it's in your startup guide. Sample script is in your startup guide, and you can tweak the script and do it the way you want to do it. All right. So bottom line is, there is always an opportunity to do things differently. Gather your referrals. Allow someone to refer an organization to you. Speak to current staff about organizations. Ask, if you know any staff, if you're working on a hospital, if you know of any staff around you or anything, just ask them which agency you have heard of. What organizations have you worked for as an agency nurse or as a staffing nurse? As a traveler? Who have you worked for? So you want to know who is hiring agency. Because this morning I found out some organization that I found out this morning in South Florida that's hiring. I didn't even know that some of these places are hiring. Most 95% hospitals today are hiring staffing agency. So step out there, guys. Speak to current staff about organizations that they would like to work in. That's how you receive valuable information. Nobody knows what's going on around in the community like the staff. They will ask you, they will tell, what agency have you worked for in the past? And they will tell you. So that's how you're going to know who you should tap into. Who are using agency nurses or staffing firm nurses? Ramp up your networking. They said your network is your net worth, and it's true. Attend community events on Zoom, guys. Now is an opportunity. Just because of COVID and pandemic, that doesn't mean that you don't go to your chamber of commerce. That doesn't mean anything. You can still dress up nicely and go to your meetings on virtual, and you get a chance to speak, you get a chance to mingle with people and to talk with people, to get names, to get, if there's a speaker, a chief nursing officer, or a CNO or a CEO, you can, and they're like a speaker or anything like that, make sure you just get their email address when you're communicating with them, and just send and say, wow, that was, send them an email and say, that was a great talk you gave last week. I enjoyed it so much. And ask a question, and then you start telling them about your staffing company, what you do, and take it from there. Sometimes all they want to do is connect with another name. Attend trade shows, job fairs. They have a lot of virtual ones. Be very clear in your message. Why I'm saying that, if you go to like a trade show meeting or a chamber of commerce meeting on virtual, and it's time for you to introduce yourself, just like you introduce yourself today, you are crystal clear about who you want to serve and what your agency and what your company does. That's how I want you to be crystal clear. Don't tell them a bunch of stuff like, I'm a consultant here, I work at Joint Commission, I work with CMS, and I'm also, and by the way, I'm an agency. This is what your goal is, to talk to them about your company. So just focus on just your company, what it does. You're connecting brilliant, compassionate nursing talents with organizations. That's what you're doing. You're connecting nurses, you're connecting CNAs. And guys, for those of you who have CNAs as your niche, make sure that you train them. They should be the best. They have to take good care of the patients when they're going. If they're doing private duty, give your CNAs added training, so you can also pitch that when you're asking them for contracts. Let's let them know this. My CNAs, oh my God, they are so good. All of them have been through a training on patient satisfaction. All of them have been to a training on, when I'm saying training, guys, just information. You're just giving them information. You don't have to give a big PowerPoint presentation. You are just sharing information with them to enhance their growth when they go into the hospital. Patient experience, they want to know that Joint Commission is there. They want to know that patient experience is good, and they want to know how to communicate with the patients in the ER, how to communicate with the patients on med-surg floor. So when you train them, you can let the organization know that your CNAs are different from the other CNAs around, because you have trained them yourself. They are homegrown CNAs. So these are some of the things. All right. So be visible to get contract. We're talking about contract. Make sure eventually we talk about Facebook page today. You need to be on LinkedIn. You can get contract on LinkedIn. A lot of decision makers are on LinkedIn. You're on Facebook because for the nurses, because I understand most decision makers are not on Facebook. I'm just telling you. The people are on Facebook. Most decision makers are on LinkedIn. And when I say decision makers, chief nursing officers make decisions. HR leaders make decisions. HR director make decisions. But you can call, when you make that call to the organization, you're going to ask to speak to, may I speak to the person who is in charge of staffing? And you can introduce themselves and let them know who you are. You are a nurse-owned staffing company in this community, and you have some amazing nurses. You have excellent CNAs, and you want to know if they need some help or some support with staffing. When you start, they say, oh, yeah, we need, now if you call people and say, oh yeah, we need nurses, let me put you on to HR, or let me put you on to the chief nursing officer, and let me put you on to the executive assistant secretary. Make sure you start calling, guys. You know what I've done in the past, and this works? You can call on the night shift and ask for the night. In the middle of the night, call the nursing supervisor. Because when a nursing supervisor is frustrated and can't find staff for the next day, they're going to say, hold on. I can't make the decision, but give me your information. Or send the email to this person. And make sure when they give you that email, you write it down nice and clear. Listen for whatever they're going to say, tenet.net or tenet.com. So write it down so you can send that email. They will tell you who to send the email to. I've gotten contracts like that. Call in the middle of the night. You don't have to call in the daytime. You can call in the middle of the night when supervisors are frustrated and they don't have staff. You can call the director, ER, and you can speak to the director. You can call an ICU and speak. Just introduce yourself. Listen, there's no one way to get contract. Be non-traditional. Do not do things like what everybody does. Pick your own way of doing things. call and speak to the scheduler. Or they may say, you know, oh, how can we help you? You're just going to let them know who you are first and make sure you create a story about yourself before you present it. Your story have to be crystal clear, because when they finish speaking with you, they should say, wow, if we don't get this staffing, this, because you're a nurse already, so you're going to have to sound like you're a healthcare professional. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a critical care registered nurse. And and don't say I. When you say I, they don't like that. They think that, oh, you just have it. It's not a serious company. Just say we. Always when you're talking about your company, never say I. We have a staffing firm here located in this community, and we have some excellent, compassionate, well-trained critical care, med-surg, telemetry nurses that we'd like to support you with if you need some staffing. You know, you let them know you're a staffing company, where you're from, and you're calling them to inform them that you're a staffing company in this city. I would like to know if you need any specialty nurses or supplemental staffing, per diem or part-time. Our specialty nurses are highly trained in all areas, including patient satisfaction. Use the language that they want to hear. Every organization wants you to talk about patient satisfaction and patient experience. We would love to discuss our services with you, and they will give you, oh, it's not me, I'm not the decision maker. You can send the email to such and such. After you send that email, you got to follow up. So here's what I say when it comes to staffing. Every day you should do something when it comes to your contract. You can have 2 or 3 days a week to call, 2 or 3 days a week to email, and at least 1 day a week you find you show up in an organization. You show up. Yep, nothing is wrong with that. Some of you may say, show up. Yep. You can get contract, or you can get signed your agreement by just show up and say, just let them see who you are and start. It's all about showing up, and it's all about how you present yourself. There's an email script that is in your manual, your startup guide. Tweak it and make it your own and use it. It works. It works very well. So I don't like the word cold calls. So I use wealth call. Some people say warm call, some say cold call. I call it wealth calling. And a wealth call is when you pick up your phone and just call. You don't know who you're speaking to, but you said, hey, may I speak to them? You can start with the HR director. Have a script for that, for the HR. You can call, and when you call the HR director may say, I am not the person who is in charge of contract or agreement or nursing agency, but I'll put you on to this person. And before they transfer you, just get the name and their email address so you can email them. Be intentional. Because a lot of CNOs and executives, they hate to get calls because they're busy. Executives are busy. I remember when I was a nurse leader in the organization, I was in charge of a lot of ICUs, and I was, assistant CNO. I want to tell you the truth. I had a meeting 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, and I have lunchtime at 1. Then I have 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Seriously, every day like that. I didn't have time to eat. And you didn't have time to prepare for some of these meetings. I mean, my calendar was so packed. And when I talk to other CNOs, on other leaders and other directors and other nurse leaders, they're telling me the same thing. So that's why they don't have time to listen to calls all the time. So make sure that if you get a chance to speak to their assistant, get as much information as you can. And when you're sending your email, make sure your email talks about who you are and what you have to do and what you're on about. All right. I'm almost done because I'm going to want you to, So what you're going to do starting right now, you're going to build a client wealth generating list. Build your client wealth generating list. And I use the word wealth because you know what? The Bible says that God gave us the power to get wealth. So we can give away, we can give money. We don't want us to be broke. We don't have to give away. You want to get wealth from what you're building so that you can give away freely. I love to give. You want to have a lot of money so you can give away. So build a client wealth generating list. And when you build it, you're going to be you're going to do a geographical market research before you build it, because you want to decide who you're going to be serving. Have their phone numbers, their emails of key individuals. Make the call. Make an email schedule so you can email 2 days a week, call 2 days per week, follow up 1 day a week. So this is the way I say it. Every day you call, every day you email, every day you follow up, you show up 1 day a week. You know what I'm saying is that getting contract and agreement takes time, because you are not the only person that's calling. So it takes time. You're going to get some no's. So if you get one no, that's okay. You get a second no, that's okay. Even if you call 10 hospitals in 1 day and you get a no, it's okay. Get dressed, ready to call the next day. And if they ask you to send them an email, make sure you follow up those emails. It's a script. It's just a system. You have to create the system. And right, this is Medicare.gov. Remember, I said this is where you get the list of all their hospice organizations, physicians' office, hospitals, and so. Medicare.gov, and then you click find and compare. Then you enter your zip code, and you get all the organizations that you really, really need. All right. So this is pretty much what and in that book, as I said before, use this guide because it tells you everything that you need to. But the key thing is that the first thing, you're going to create your list. That's the first thing I want you to do. Create your list, because next week I want people to say, I have gotten a contract. I want somebody to say, I have gotten a contract, or at least somebody read your email. I sent an email. But next week, when we talk about our accomplishment, I want at least to see at least 6 contracts come up from this group. You can do it. And even if you don't get a contract, at least you connect with a leader, you connect with a decision maker, whether it's from a nursing home, a long-term care facility, a rehab, a physician's office, or a hospital. I want you to at least, because I want you to start tomorrow. I want you to start, well, maybe not tomorrow, because you need to tweak your contract. You need to look at the contract, read it, and make sure it's good. You can't start tomorrow, because you're the contract that I've sent to you, look at that contract, review it carefully. And even if you have to ask your attorney to look at it, that's a contract I use. I tweak it all the time. I tweak it based on the organization, but you can use that same contract and tweak it. This, I don't want to go over this today, because this is like a math of how much money you can make based on the number of nurses. I'm going to go talk about that another day. When I do the math, I want you to know that you can make a $250,000 by with just two nurses you schedule per shift. 2 nurses per shift. But I'm not going to go over talk about that now. I'm going to talk about that another time. So with that said, this okay, and as far as the contract is concerned, your bill rate, that's going to be on your contract, but I cannot decide on your bill rate for you guys. Your bill rate is going to be based on the market. Your bill rate is going to be based on what's going on in the market today. That's what your bill rate is going to look like, because you want to know what's going on. How much is it, that other agencies are paying? Your bill rate will be dependent on what's going on in the community. And you got to ask, you can't say, Eva, how much should I charge? I'm living in, I don't know. I want to know, how much are they paying in your community? If you ask me about Florida, anybody want ideas in Florida, I can tell you, because that's where I am. But I can't tell you about Georgia, because you have to find out what is, hey, John, you have to find what is your bill rate in your community. So with that said, I know that I'm running a little late, and John is here and he's going to be sharing. Any questions on contract? Because this is important. At the end of the day, 2 things going to make your agency flow. I got nurses and I got contract. There are other things, but that's the gist of it. If you don't have any contract, you're not going to make any money. And if you have a contract and you don't have nurses it's sometimes I take it very personally for organization. One of my clients, they are very, very, if they are busy and they ask us for 8 day shift nurses, like they have different, or one of my clients, they have different locations, and they said, oh, Eva, we need, or they ask a scheduler, we need 4 nurses this morning for this campus, and 6 for this campus, and 4 for that campus. You know how good it is when you can staff them all. and send them. It makes you feel so good that not you don't feel good because of the money so much, but you feel good that you help other nurses to take your patient. The nurses are not going to be overwhelmed that much because you send them help. Sometimes they're literally crying, please, please send us nurses. Create your own way of doing things. And let me tell you, starting Monday, starting next week, I want every single one of you guys to start calling your client niche. Whether it's a hospital, physician's office, you have to start calling, because by somebody, quite a few of you, at least 50% of you are going to come and say, yep, I got a contract. Or if you don't get a contract, at least you have a lead. Something is happening. And listen, for those of you who don't have any nurses, you better get some nurses, because you cannot have the contract. If you get the contract, it's going to happen. What's going to happen is that you may have to go yourself if you don't have nurses. So take the nursing staff. Questions on contract? Real quickly. Any questions? Because I'm going to hand over to John to talk about credentialing and stuff.
I do have a question.
Who is this? Say your
Rayvon.
name, please. Say your name and show your face if you can.
Rayvon Campbell.
Campbell, yes.
Okay. I have a question. What if we don't have a contract and we hiring these nurses and they asking what is they pay? What is they pay rate?
If who asks? The nurses ask?
Yeah.
Right. So you're gonna your strategy that you're gonna use is that you want to kind of you don't have to tell them exactly, because you don't have to tell them, listen, I'm paying 85 a week. You're gonna say, it's gonna be in this range. For now, you can start with, because I've done that. It's going to be in this range based on, and you're gonna do it based on the market. Because, for example, if other agencies are paying them $85 an hour, another agency is not going to pay them $150. The other one is going to pay them $95. The other one is going to pay them $80. So you're going to say it's going to be in that range, and be just ironing out some things right now. It's not going to be about, oh, you can create a range and stay with it. But a lot of nurses will pull your legs, because you know what? If you say if you give them a lower rate, they may not want to work with you because they can get $10 an hour more from another agency. I've lived that. I've seen it. So one of the things that we have done in our organization, we know the rates for almost every agency. For almost every company around, we know the rates, because if we don't know the rates, you can't compare. And nurses today, our colleagues are amazing nurses. They are loyal. They are super loyal. But when it comes to the rate, they're not going to hang out with you if you're paying $10 less. They will go. So you're going to compare the rates. And again, it's a lot of comparison that you're going to be doing. If anyone need to have any, if you need any support or any help deciding on your rate based on the market before you actually send out your contract, because they're going to say, send me your contract. When you call the organization, they're going to say, send me your contract. So when they say, send me your contract, make sure that contract is nice and clean and everything. As I said before, I have a legal person in your, because just take a look at the contract, because I didn't put the rates on it. Make sure that on table A, you have the rates for your LPNs, your nurse practitioners, your CRNAs, and have it nicely and make it simple. Make it nice and clean and simple.
Okay.
When I say simple, to me, it is easier for me to pay a nurse if I say $90 an hour for day shift and $95 for night shift. I can't be bothered into the 1.3. Some organizations will do that and said, we'll pay you the differential too. But you don't have to get into that when it comes to your nurses. And you can talk to me on a one-on-one if you need some help with this. But make it simple and easier. Don't get into the $95.85 and just say, listen, I'm paying $80 for days and 85. Make your life simple, because you're going to do your pay and roll yourself a lot of times. Make your life simple. Some organizations, by the way, guys, they are going to send you their contract as well. You can end up they sign yours and you sign their contract, or sometimes they just send you their contract. They will do that. Questions on contract. Did that answer your question, Ravion Campbell? Yeah, just compare. You got to know what's going on in your community, guys. Every one of you. Leon, you got to know what's going on in Florida. Hannah, you got to know what's going on in Virginia. Dee Marie, you got to know what's going on in Florida. I mean, all of you guys got to know what's going on. Demal, you got to know what's going on in your community. Shioma, you got to know what's going on in not California, but Georgia. You got to know what's going on in your community. So make sure that you study the market. And as far as studying the market, there is a conference coming up, and I will share that with you in Washington, D.C. Is a staffing conference, healthcare staffing conference that, is a conference to network and communicate with people and learn more about the staffing industry. You don't want to stay there in a small hole and just do something. You want to grow and expand. So you want to learn this business and be great at the staffing industry, because this industry is really special and you want to learn it, because eventually I know that, joint commission becoming a joint commission surveyor. That's a goal that we're going to have. We start working on our papers already, but joint commission is not, as far as I know, they're not surveying anyone right now, but that's our next step, and we're going to do that, that kind of thing. We start working on that, and I want you to start thinking of that too. You don't have to worry about it right now, but that's a goal. That's step number 2. Next question on contract before I call up John. I know, John, I apologize. I know you're ready to speak.
You're totally fine. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Okay, great. Listen, contracts. Anyone else? How do you feel about going on? Do you feel like it's fuzzy? Do you feel like, did I make it any clearer? Is it scary, or what is, how do you feel about it? Everything is in this book. Study the script and tweak the script. You can be calling a company and you have this script right in front of you. Yep. I have assigned script to virtual assistant. And if it's a virtual assistant that comes across professional and speak very well, and if you speak clearly, you can have them do that too. But if you have the time, it's best if you do it yourself. Every day you call, every day you're going to market. It's something you're going to do every day. You're going to, in the morning when you get to your office, whether your office is home office or wherever you're working from, create a list. When you have your list and say, okay, today my goal, be intentional. My goal today is to call 20 hospitals. Don't say my goal is to just call 1. My goal is to call 10. Or my goal is to create this, and depends on how much time you have. My goal today is to call 10. And then if you call 10 and you get 10 no's, that doesn't mean you're not going to call them again. You're going to follow. My goal is to call 6 today. Set a number. In that way you call, and you're always communicating. Marketing, contracting is an everyday affair. Questions? Stacy, question.
None so far, thank you.
E. Marie, question.
Real quickly, I'm assuming that.
Listen, I'm calling the ones that I can't see their face because I don't know what's going on behind. I don't know what's going on behind the Zoom. That's why I'm calling you guys. I don't know because. Okay.
I don't mind, but real quickly, I'm assuming if it takes about 3 weeks for us to get the licensure, right? So we probably shouldn't be having these conversations with contracts until we get the licensing, because if they turn around and say, "Hey,
okay,
we need somebody,"
you're talking about the those of you like in Florida who haven't gotten your license yet?
Correct.
Yeah, I would wait until I get my license before I actually go there. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but those of you who are free to go, don't need, who have gotten your license already, or who don't need a license, you're registered already, you can free to go. And I don't want you to not do anything because you don't have a license, because I'm going to be honest with you, the Florida license, it takes 2 weeks. I got a license in a week. As soon as you submit that thing, you're going to get it. Doesn't take long. For those of you, so you should start creating the list, and as soon as you get it, you reach out there, because you're right about that. If you're not legal yet, you don't want to start calling them, because you want to make sure you have everything in order. Have everything in order. The first order, we talked about that last week, is make yourself 100% legal. And legality, as far as being legal is concerned, you have to hold yourself accountable for being legal. Don't do anything out of without being compliant with your federal government, your state, or anything like that. So Dee Marie, that's a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't want anybody to skip that step. So what you can do in the meantime, get your list together, create your script, and make sure, don't wait, submit that application form if you have to right now. It doesn't take long, as long as you're ready. For those of you in Florida who have submitted it already, it's going to come through very, 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 very soon. And those of you who don't need a license, please move forward. Keep going on, move forward. And because I know the ones, you know, most of you guys here on this list can start calling for your contracts. Any other question? Ladina, question. Okay, so if you have any questions about contract, please send me an email or call me on a one-on-one. What I want to do, guys, I need everyone's phone number. I have some, I don't have some. Shoot me yours on the Millions email. Just send me your phone number. And the reason why I need your phone number for encouragement. I want to encourage you. I want to text you to see how you're doing. I want you guys to text me back. I believe in texting. If you ask me any question that you have to ask me, if you're fuzzy about something, text me. Feel free to text me on the number. And I want to, you know, I want you guys to send me your number so I can have it. Because sometimes, you know, like I feel like I want to text and say, how is it going? About how was the contract today? Whatever. The communication, I want to leave that open, you know, for now. So send me your phone number so I can have that, so we can have, you know, support you and encourage you and inspire you. So I don't want anybody sleeping on me when it comes to the contract, because somebody tell you no 5 times, you're going to drop the ball. Nope, you're going to keep going. All right. So with that said, I have John here, and I know that, you know, John is here from, let's have your information here, from Kamana Company. And Kamana is, and I want John to tell you about his company. It's a healthcare platform that deals with staff competencies and efficiency in compliance and credentialing and so on and so forth. And you guys need that. And John has a lot of good information that he's going to be sharing. John is my friend that he's going to from Kamana, and I'm going to be connecting with his company as well, but he has some, you know, his service. He can support us with what they are doing in their company. So I'm going to have him just tell us about himself a little bit, talk about what he's doing, and share with you guys how he can support us moving forward. Thank you. Hey, John.
Hey, Eva, thank you. And I see that I just need the ability to share my screen. If you can grant me access there.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that. I know me to do it. What do I do and you share it?
It just somewhere, let me think.
Okay, because I didn't.
Enable, it should allow you to enable screen sharing.
Okay, I know to share mine, but I did not know that. Okay, all right, why didn't I fix this before? All right, I'm coming. All right, so I know to share. I have to go in settings.
Let me see.
I don't know how to share another person's screen. I didn't know that I had to share. I'm sorry, maybe I missed that piece. So that's why I had to practice it before. I don't know. Anybody knows?
You probably have to make him a host.
Okay, that I can do. I can make John a host. All right.
Make him a host.
Okay. Be able to share. Yeah, okay, that I can do. Make you a host. Now I make you a host. Do you want John to be a host? Yes. Can you share your host, John? Thank you.
I can share.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Who is that? Sheena? Whoever give thanks. Okay, so you're a host.
Wonderful. And are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So cool. Yeah, no, thank you, Eva. And just a quick background on me, guys. And first of all, thank you all for the opportunity for me to chat with you and staying up so late. I'll go quick through this because, you know, open door with me. Happy to jump on a screen share or a call with anyone else. You know, Eva mentioned a few times about leveraging your network and relationships. Consider me like that. You know, whether or not you end up using Kamana, I'm always there, happy to collaborate, share information. We talk to lots of staffing agency owners every day. So if it's something that I can't help you with, I usually know somebody like Eva in my network that I can connect you with. So just a quick bit about me and Kamana. So I'm like many of you, I'm a registered nurse as well. Majority of my career was in ER nursing, and I was a travel nurse. And when I wasn't travel nursing, I was doing per diem assignments locally in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live. So I've always been that healthcare professional on this side of the healthcare staffing world. And my co-founders and I started Kamana because we just saw there needs to be an easier way for nurses to apply with staffing agencies, and an easier way for staffing agencies to, manage all of these healthcare professionals as you start building that pool of nurses and, CNAs and radiology techs and respiratory therapists and the different healthcare disciplines. Having a platform that is streamlined, that's healthcare specific, to keep track of all this stuff and, share the information with your clients as needed. So I'm going to give you guys just a high level overview. Interrupt me if you have any questions, and also know that, happy to jump on a screen share with anybody individually and dive more into it. And I also just want to mention, just in case anybody has to drop off, we've got awesome other resources that I'm happy to share with anybody that's interested. And I'll make sure that you guys have my email, but a few of the things that we have are, like, we have a template library here that's open source, anybody's welcome to use. And we've got all kinds of like skills checklists that you're going to need, medical forms for like declinations and things like that, down to some of your employment forms, direct deposit, background check authorization. So happy to share this open source library, leverage that. Eva touched on Joint Commission. So none of us are going to get Joint Commission right out the gate, but I think it's important to establish your business with Joint Commission in mind, because you're gonna want to hit that, and it's just good practice. So we compiled this resource here, and so these are recommendations from Joint Commission and NAVO, which is another organization of healthcare staffing agencies. So this is just a great just document, and it's got, talks about different immunization guidelines. When is it appropriate for a quantiferon for TB versus a PPD? And when is it appropriate for, a hepatitis declination versus a titer series? So some of that stuff that you can start thinking about now as you're collecting credentials from these healthcare professionals. And there's resources out to, just CDC guidelines, stuff like that. And obviously a lot of this is evolving, especially with COVID. But yeah, so I'll make sure that everybody has access to any of this stuff, and then just reiterate, things like background checks and drug screenings, all that kind of stuff. A lot of it is going to be specific for the client you're staffing for, right? If you're staffing in Florida, they're going to need a county and state background check in that area. If you're staffing through this client, they may be okay with a flu declination, where this one requires proof of vaccination. So a lot of it will be subjective to your client, but just establishing your agency's really kind of credentialing requirements is a great way to have your nurses and your candidates nice and buttoned up and squared away. Just like Eve was talking about, having them trained and all of that, that's something else that you can go to your clients and say, these are the expectations. I want BLS, not CPR, or, I do this type of background check on all my candidates and this type of drug screening. So I'll make sure that this gets shared, and we actually did a video presentation on it too. So you'll have a video there that you can watch as well. So I'm going to jump into what the heck Kamana is. And in a nutshell, as you're building relationships with candidates, they need an easy way to apply to your staffing agency. We're all nurses. We all have been there where you want to apply to a job, but you got to wait till you get home and get on your laptop. Like, don't have that friction point. If you are engaging a qualified candidate through Facebook Messenger, you should be able to send them a link and they can apply with their phone and they can start that process, because they may forget about you or they may find another opportunity. So being able to engage them and making a mobile friendly way, you get that with Kamana. And then, as you're building that sphere of healthcare professionals, having a system to track and store all of those candidates, so that when you're on the phone with that potential client and they're like, yeah, we need registered nurses that are med-surg qualified, you can jump into your database and say, let me look at all the medical med-surg nurses that I have available to work, or all the intensive care unit nurses that I have available to work, and filter through that. And then as folks become employed, being able to say, okay, where are all of my current folks that I have on payroll right now? So being able to go to, kind of your engaged candidates and see, all right, these are all the healthcare professionals that are actively out there working for me. This is the number that we want to build. And then, we'll go into their profiles specifically, but within Kamana, it becomes your source of truth. You're going to be collecting a lot of information on these healthcare professionals. So you got to have a succinct, organized way to store this. And, it's sensitive data too. And, as nurses, like Eva and I, we would never share patient data via text or email. So we kind of have that same philosophy with Kamana. Like, these nurses and CNAs and healthcare professionals, this is their personal sensitive information. So using Kamana gives you an encrypted way to collect it, to store it, to share it with your clients. So we're able to protect these social security cards and physicals and medical history items and, HR data. Let's protect it just like patient data. So Kamana gives you a way to store all that stuff, have it nice in one place. Things are expiring constantly. These certifications, licenses, we all know as nurses, it's hard to keep up of your own stuff. Imagine when you've got 40 healthcare professionals out there that are on payroll. You got to know when their BLS is coming up for renewal, and you got to remind them. So with Kamana, your healthcare professionals, they get reminders on any license, cert, or medical history item. They'll start getting expiration reminders at 60 days out, and they'll get them on a 15-day cadence until they renew that thing and put it back in their profile. So, you still have a bird's eye view. Show me everybody that's at risk of expiring. Calvin here, I know I'm gonna have to pull him out of that ICU if he doesn't get this ACLS card removed, so I can jump into his profile, give him a phone call, give that extra encouragement. But just knowing that they're getting those lightweight reminders on that stuff. So I'm gonna actually jump over and show you the nurses side. So obviously, being a nurse-owned company, we're very nurse-centric, as I'm sure a lot of you all will run your business. And it's important to us that it's a really good, easy flow for the healthcare professional when applying. So the way it works with Kamana is your staffing agency, when you go to your preferences, you have your own unique application link. So this link, like Eva mentioned, you got to have a slick, crisp website and make it really clear how to apply. If I get to it as a nurse, it needs to be clear as day. Where's that call to action? Click this so I can apply. This is the link that you'll have behind that apply now button. We're happy to, our team will work with you to get that button on there, get this link behind it. You're also using this link on your Facebook marketing. That's where a lot of healthcare professionals are looking for work, and they're engaging with your recruiters and your team. So being able to say, hey, I need CNAs in Miami, Florida right now. Pay rate is $20 an hour, night shift, click here to apply. Doing that is how you can generate a ton of candidates, and just making it as simple as possible. With this link, you can text it to somebody, you can send it through Facebook Messenger. However you get it in front of that candidate, when they click it, they're going to apply. So let's look at what that looks like. So this is one of our agency partners here. So if I come to their website, just to show you what it looks like, when I click that apply and onboard, I'm hitting their portal. So now I'm going into Bella Health Staffing. I'm able to create my profile and apply with them. You'll see things like if you already have a Kamana profile. What this means is with Kamana, we offer a free digital wallet. So, all of us as nurses, we can go to kamanahealth.com and create a free Kamana profile. And it serves as a place to store all of your credentials, get reminders on when things are expiring, and have everything in that nice, secure place. We're coming on 16,000 nurses and CNAs and physical therapists and healthcare professionals that use Kamana profiles. So when they come across one of our agency partners, a lot of that onboarding process, they're just connecting their profile with your account. And if you're a nurse that's worked per diem or agencies, you've gone through this duplicative process of onboarding over and over and over again. So it's really exciting to connect with a nurse out there that already has a Kamana profile, because they don't have to repeat a lot of this process. But let's look at what it looks like when they apply. So they'll put in their first name, last name, their email. This next page here, it's going to ask for their profession, years of experience, and specialty. I want to be transparent. Kamana is healthcare specific. So if anybody is trying to do like medical staffing, but also do IT staffing or construction staffing or anything like that. You wouldn't be able to facilitate Kamana for those disciplines. It's just going to be your nursing and your allied roles, everything from a CRNA to your therapy roles to radiology techs, which is cool too, because you may start with your niche, might be LPNs in long-term care and CNAs. But once you get into that hospital or you get into another client and they're like, hey, we really need a respiratory therapist right now. You know that you've got the infrastructure to attract those candidates and support them through. But we'll be a registered nurse today. So they're picking their primary specialty, their profession. This next page here is your job application. You've got to capture a legal job application for anybody that applies with you. And the way it works with Kamana is you've also got the opportunity to capture things like their phone number, when are you available to start, where do you want to work? I'm in Jacksonville, so we'll say we want to work in Jacksonville today. What distance? If you're doing per diem locally, this is a great way for them to say, I'm willing to work within 50 miles or 100 miles. And then lastly, that legal attestation. Out of the box, this is the legal verbiage that we have. Basically, I'm being honest, I'm granting you access, I'm choosing to apply with your business, and I'm giving you permission to share my information with your clients as needed. We can change this legal attestation to anything that you need for your business, but this is how it looks out of the box when you sign up for Kamana. And then I can add any questions to this, guys. So something could be, let's say one of your clients is Tenet Hospital in Florida, and they say, we need RNs, but they cannot have worked here within the last year as a permanent employee. That might be a question that you want to ask up front. Or it could be more general stuff. How did you hear about us? Are you willing to work with COVID positive patients? Did somebody refer you? If so, who? So you've got the opportunity for us to add any drop down, radio button, questions like that, any fill in the blank. But anyways, they complete that, they hit that apply now, and then they hit your applicant portal. So when they hit this applicant portal, a few things start happening. First of all, they'll start getting pop-ups. So, they've applied, but we want to encourage them to start sharing information, because the more you can build up the profile, the faster they're ready for submittal. So they'll get pop-ups in the app that welcome them, ask them to complete their personal information. So go ahead and go through here. Tiffany, this is info that you have off the top of your head, so you can do it while you're, sitting here on your lunch break when you decided to apply with this staffing agency. So, just giving them the ability to complete stuff as they have it, because we've all been at that application where it's like, well, I don't know who my reference is going to be, but I want to go ahead and do this part, but it's an all or nothing. That's not the flow with Kamana. It allows them to do single requirements. So they may want to come back and do their tax home address and stuff like that. So, as they're going through, they'll get pop-ups in the app that encourage them next, upload any licenses you have. So we're a registered nurse. And again, just making it all super healthcare specific. So I'm going through, this is my license number, indicating if it's a compact state or not for the RN and LPN licenses, what's that expiration date, and it allows them right here to upload that supporting document. So all the way through here, they're going to be able to upload that document. We mentioned that it needs to be mobile friendly. So just to show you how Kamana looks, if I chose to apply with you and I'm on my iPhone 6, this is the view I get. So it's not crunched down. I don't have to download an app. It just works. And it doesn't matter if I'm on an Android, an iPhone, a Google phone, a tablet, it's cross device. But at the same time, I may start this on my phone, and then when I get home, I want to jump on my computer to complete it. They can jump across devices. They just log in. So it makes it really, really easy for them to apply. Grab whatever that certification is. What's the expiration date? If I'm on my phone, I can browse out to my camera and take a photo of it. You guys are all nurses. I recommend going to Kamana, making a free Kamana profile just to experience what it's like for your healthcare professionals and really see that. But so anyways, they go through, they're filling out their profile, and I'm going to jump back over to the agency's end to show you some stuff that's happening here. So, you just did a post on Facebook in a, RN specific Florida group. I've got this need for med-surg RNs. And when somebody applies, you get a notification. So you can see Tiffany T has just joined via your applicant portal. You can send personal invites. So it'd say Tiffany T accepted your invite to apply. So you can see what pathway they came through there. And going into it opens up their profile. So we can see, okay, cool. Tiffany's a registered nurse, med-surg, she's got 6 years. I can already see some of this HR data that she started. She's looking to work within 50 miles of Florida. I can see that she's already put in her Florida license here. You have access to that file in real time. Again, we're not having to have Tiffany email us this and then get it out of our email and move it over into whatever system you're going to store it. It's just right there. But at the same time, let's say you have Tiffany's BLS card, because like Eva was saying, maybe you're doing ACLS certification. So I've already got a copy of her BLS card. I'm going to upload it in here for her. So it allows cross collaboration where your candidate's working to build out their profile. You can also add to it and collaborate on it. There's in-app chat here, so I can send Tiffany a message, engage her from a recruitment standpoint. On her end, she can see that. So it acts as a way that you can chat with your healthcare professionals, which is really cool. We see a lot of recruitment teams using that up front. And just to skip ahead here, if we jump into Casey, so this nurse has a nice completed profile. So they're filling out their profile, you're adding to it. This is what you want your candidates to look like when it's ready, when you're submitting them and you have them on payroll. You want all of their licenses in here, all of your certifications. You've got their work history completed down to references, medical history items that you're going to have to collect, additional documents, driver's license.
I love that.
Yeah. But at the same time, you may have documents that need to be private that the healthcare professional, the candidate doesn't need access to. So things could be like your drug screen reports, your SAMS report, your OIG. So you've got a whole file cabinet for just private to the staffing agency, as well as notes. We can track notes about what's going on with this candidate. Again, Casey can't see it, but you can track what's going on. There's a whole integrated e-sign process. So I'm sure you all have had someone say, hey, I need you to complete this form, and they just email you a PDF. So you're like, okay, what am I going to do here? I got to figure out how to print this out. I got to sign it. Nurses have options, like remove that friction, because somebody else is going to send them a DocuSign and they're going to say, well, that looks easier and they may be paying less. And I really liked that agency, but remove that friction. So with Kamana, you've got, we've got all those templates in the template library that you're free to have. But with Kamana, it gives you a nice slick way that you can say, hey, I need you to do a skills checklist. I need you to do this competency test, and I need you to sign this direct deposit form. I'm going to call it onboarding docs. I'm going to give you some direction on, I need this done this weekend so that you can start Monday, and fire that over to the healthcare professional. And because we use a partner called HelloSign for this, and because it's built into Kamana, it'll pull over their info. So this is less for them to fill out, less for you to fill out, just makes it easier for everybody to get this stuff done. So that's completely included. I heard Eva mention like constant contact is a way to store. When you think about like that for keeping track of candidate data, and then things like DocuSign, it quickly starts building up, and these are all tools that aren't connected. So it gives you a centralized place to have all of this stuff. You're able to track your clients in here. Are they through an MSP? As you start getting those contacts, who's that director of nursing? Who's that CNO? Who's that HR director? You're able to store information on those contacts, what's going on with them. There's a library here where I love your idea, Eva, with giving them access to different training documents. So you can say, hey, look, I'm not going to send every one of my CNAs this massive packet. Instead, I'm going to have it stored in the library here. So all they have to do is when they're logged in to my portal, I want you to go over to your dashboard, and I want you to review our employee handbook, and I want you to review this OSHA. And when you're done, sign this form for me saying you did it. So it's a way that you can just have this stuff stored, easily accessible for them. When it comes time to sharing the candidates, some of your clients need submittals. So they say, okay, you say you've got an RN that's ICU, but I need to see their profile. So what you can do is produce this real-time just resume. So this is a profile that you can shoot over to your client. Here's what I got for you. Let me know what you think. They come back, they look great. We need documents on our end for their joint commission audit. So if you do need to share these files with them, you've got a whole sharing process where you can shoot them over a link. They get it via email. And when they click that link, it gives them access to your candidate's profile so that they can themselves grab that BLS cert and store it, or just validate that it's there, or whatever it might be. And then at the same time, if you say, hey, this nurse isn't working with them anymore, they don't need access, you can come in here and unshare that link so they no longer have access to your candidate's profile. So just a slick way to quickly share this data with your clients is needed. And sorry, I'm going 100 miles an hour, guys. I just want to respect your time. At a high level, it's how you collect the stuff, how you store it, how you track it, how you communicate with your candidates, and how you share it with your clients. And we work with startup staffing agencies. We're a bit biased to nurse-owned staffing agencies, and it's because we've got that nurse-centric culture. We think that it's about the healthcare professional and finding the right healthcare professional, and that end result provides more value to your clients. So would be super excited to chat with any of you further about Kamana. The pricing, we're also transparent about our pricing. It's $95 a month. So it doesn't matter how much you use the e-sign, doesn't matter how many candidates you have in there.
How much a month you said?
$95 a month. So that includes e-sign. As you hire more recruiters and compliance specialists, there's no charge for them to have seats in the system too. So we priced it that way to be able to work with small businesses. And when you think about DocuSign and you're sending out a lot of documents and other G Drive and other systems like that to keep track, it can quickly add up. So it's economical to get started with it. No contracts or anything like that. But like I said, happy to do, this was Rush. So anybody that's interested, happy to do a one-on-one demo with you. Or if you just have questions about credentialing or just anything at all, like I love chatting, especially with other entrepreneurs and brainstorming and strategizing. So happy to help in any way I can.
Yeah.
Quick
Wow.
question.
Yeah,
When you
please.
send the message when you send a message to the nurse, is that come in the form of a text message, or does it come in the form of an email?
Yeah, good question. So let's say that we want to send Tiffany a message here. So we said, hey, Tiffany, if she's active in her profile, like she is right now, she gets the bell icon. So she doesn't get a text message or an email because she's active in the system, says who from your team messaged her, and she can reply. What happens with Kamana is it'll recognize, just like we can see active in the chat, Dave Adams and Tiffany Thomas. If you're inactive, meaning just your phone's locked, you're not looking at the browser, then it will default to what their notification preferences are. So it's up to them. Do they like to get a text message or an email? So if you send somebody a message, they can get a text message, lets them know that you sent them a message, and they can jump right back in. And the same thing with when you send them a document to sign, they'll get a text message, hey, Tiffany asked you to sign or to complete skills checklist, and they can click the link and do it right there from their phone. Or as they get reminders, hey, your ACLS is expiring today, apparently. They get those reminders on those 15-day cadence. It'll just respect their notification preferences, whether it be text or email.
One of the things that I like about this is the fact that it's just compact. You can have everything stored there, because the organizations today, guys, you're going to see that when you step out there, that they want so much on these on one nurse. You have to have like 20 different pieces of documents. They want everything. I mean, listen, when it comes to immunization, they want every single part, and they're not going. Most organizations don't even want it. I know one of my clients, they would rather, and this is crazy, The HR department would rather the nurses work short than to take a nurse without the flu vaccine. There's a lot of paperwork they have. And especially if you're going into the hospitals that are magnet organization, they want everything. So when I know that John has been doing this and I found out about his company, I know that for sure that this is a company that, you know, all of us should really take a look at to see how it can help us to navigate our way and to be more successful with our company. I think it has so much to offer when it comes to, you know, all these compliance issues and so on and so forth. Yeah, I really like this. Any other questions for John? So John, how can we get in touch with you? Any of these ladies, if they want to connect with you independently, or if they want to a demo for their company, or when they, you know, whenever, or if they want to call and ask any question, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, let me try to pull the chat up. I'm gonna stop my share. Oops. Anybody can email me, call me, text me anytime. And let me pull up the chat and I'll send you guys my email here and my cell phone number. Feel free to reach out anytime with any questions. Again, don't hesitate if it's something unrelated to this. I'm happy to help. And I don't know all the answers, but I know a lot of smart people that I can refer you to, which is helpful. But that's my email, that's my phone number, and you can learn more about Kamana at our website, kamanahealth.com. And yeah, happy to help in any way. And it's exciting to meet you all. I appreciate your time.
And I have one last question.
Please.
Is there I saw that there was a scheduling part. Is that included in it as well?
Good question. So right now there's not scheduling in the sense of like a per diem scheduler. That's a feature that we're excited to start working on later this year. There is the ability for healthcare professionals to express their availability, but it's as simple as saying, I'm able to start on, you know, February 1st, and I want to work within this range. As far as a like interactive per diem scheduler, I'd be interested in your experience, Eva, but we've heard a lot of good things about When I Work.
Oh, I was just going to tell her about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So right now, a lot of our heavily focused per diem customers are using When I Work. We hear good things about them, but we'll be excited to build a per diem scheduler that's in the app later this year.
Yeah, that's something you can check out, Shehan, because I know you're asking about scheduling, and that's, you know, just When I Work. I heard a lot about it, and I've been looking at it to myself to use. I've not been using it, but
yeah,
we're using like homegrown software. We homegrown, but I'm looking at When I Work because I've heard a lot about it. Yes. Yeah,
it's not healthcare specific. It's for any staffing industries. It's industry agnostic, but it seems to fit the bill pretty well and it's economical too. I think they even have a free version.
Yes. Okay, guys, we are running late. Any other questions regarding John's presentation or anything about contract or anything like that we need to? Anything for John first? I can. All right. Well, John, thank you so much. I will definitely be in contact with you. And you gave us your information. You gave them your information, right?
I did. Yep, it's
all right.
there. And
Okay.
awesome.
Okay,
I appreciate it, Eva. Nice meeting everyone. Have a good evening. And
thanks for this nice presentation. This is going to make a lot of our lives easier. So I'll be in touch with you for sure. Take care.
Sounds good. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.